This is episode 50, Discussion Combustion. We're doing an episode this week. I'm not too sure. Are we planning on going back weekly after this? So we're going to play it by ear like a lot of Americans are, like a lot of people around the world are right now. And Kevin and I are trying to do our part. I mean, he has his face mask around his neck. I got mine handy dandy. If I'm going into a public space, you already know that this is on. We're in Colorado. There's a $50 fine if you go into a place.
That's effective today. So in Denver, you got to have a face mask on if you're going outdoors. So we're prepared. We're indoors. We're in the studio. There's only 2 of us in here right now. So we're meeting the 5 or less guidelines. So,
and we have hand sanitizer on hand. I got
we do
Clorox in a spray bottle. It's like a mouth spray, but Lysol actually.
Here, I better use a little before we start this, huh?
Yeah, I just put some on. But yeah, it's crazy times right now. And,
it really is, man. It's good to be back, though.
It is good to be back.
It's been really too long, I feel like. 8 weeks, but we tried to...
We haven't done that.
We rode out the storm. I know a lot of podcasts kept going, from home.
Yeah.
And guys were able to do it remotely. I know Rogan and those guys were still operating the studio, kind of taking their chances. But being that the band was so strict here in Denver, we were just trying to say, hey, man, we're going to sit it out in April.
Play our part.
The bans are lifted now in Colorado. It doesn't mean you can just go buck wild now.
Yeah.
We're still going to have to sanitize, still wear a mask. We still got to do our part, to not increase the spread of this thing. So, but that being said, we're back. It's episode 50.
Episode 50, the big 50.
Man,
we did it, man. It's in life, you get momentum, you start moving, you start going, and sometimes life does throw you a curveball. I mean, this is something that happens. And this pandemic has done that to the world, and it's interesting because things will not be the same moving forward. It's never going to go back to how it was. It's going to be a new. It's going to be a new future, and that's something that's important for all of us to know. Because we're going to help create what this new normal is.
And no one really knows exactly what that new normal is yet.
Yeah.
I mean, we know the basics of having the social distancing, 6 feet precautions, all that stuff, sanitizing, masks. It's probably going to be that way once everything truly goes back to open. Once you can go to a baseball game again or sit at a NASCAR race like I plan to do later this year. I'm probably going to have to sit there with a mask, no shaking hands.
Less people in the studio, in the stadium as well.
Yeah,
so it's going to definitely be...
I've heard some rumors on how they're talking about doing it is like, I just don't know how they're going to be able to regulate it. Do they sell just the odd numbers on the seats? Do they spread it out to where it's... seat number 1 and 4 can be sold.
Well, and then the seat behind them couldn't be caddy corner because then that's less than 6 feet.
So somebody needs to be laying out some blueprints on how to do that properly.
But once things do get open and we're all able to get outdoors again, of course, go to WOAMEET.com for wild outdoor adventures. This is a Colorado company. If you're in the state of Colorado, you'd like to see the outdoors once everything gets back to the normal. This is going to be a place where you can go to see things for free online, pick out your activity, veteran-specific programs, Hope for Teens. I'm sure that Kevin over there is doing a lot of things as far as blogs about COVID as well, I bet.
Yeah, Kev's done a good job through all this, obviously trying to organize a lot of things here once we start opening back up and people are able to get outdoors again. So, again, be sure to go over to WOAMEET.com, sign up for free. Get yourself ready to go on some outdoor activities once we're able to do that again and the social distancing allows for it.
Yeah.
I think he's shooting for late June, early July for the next trip.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Art said, in addition to that, these guys offer all kinds of great programs. Kev's got big things coming out in 2021 to help small businesses as well. He's there for Colorado entrepreneurs, Hope for Teens, Hope for the Veterans. Go on there and blog with other people about the outdoors. Like myself, there's a page about guns on there. I just bought a bunch of guns since the last time you guys saw me.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
Less streaming, more exploring, guys. That's WOAMEET.com.
Yes. And, of course, we are also brought to you by Mountain Made CBD. That is mountainmade.life is where you go for your CBD products.
Mountainmade.life, so we're going to stock up on all of the crystal clear CBD products, the Build, the Boost, the Recover, and the Puff.
Got them on the table for you guys.
That's right. That's a full spectrum puff, guys. Head on over to the site, check out their inventory. These things are flying off the shelf. Obviously, the Recover, the Boost, the Build. You guys are familiar with the product. Stock up. follow them on Instagram. If you want to be a brand ambassador, hit up Mike, hit up those guys over there. They'll get you set up, helping athletes, helping anyone in between. This is CBD fuel designed for an activated lifestyle or just a regular lifestyle to get you through the day. You start off with your 50 milligram build in the morning, feeling sluggish around noon, you take a boost. What happens when you get home after a long day, Art?
Oh, it's the recover. Help you get that sleep with the Magnolia. It's important to recover after a long day. We're all stressed, finding new ways to deal with this life. Definitely great products to help ease the tension of mind. And I know dispensaries are open out there. They're working hard. And if you are looking to have an awesome CBD product that is a tablet, that is not a tincture or a gummy, it's something that, is CBD focused with higher milligram dosages, Mountain Made's the one for you. You guys can hit them up, mountainmade.life.
That's right. These guys are shipping nationwide. They can ship coast to coast wherever you're at. If you want CBD on your shelves, if you're a small dealer in San Diego or Bangor, Maine, Mountain Made has you covered. Hit them up. It's mountainmade.life.
Absolutely. Hashtag go like hell.
Go like hell. Own it.
And the coronavirus, COVID has been going like hell as well, man.
I'm sure we're all so tired of hearing COVID-19.
I know.
Coronavirus.
We won't talk about it the whole time.
Well, of course not. But
I got other things.
We got to address the elephant in the room, right? This has been the reason that we haven't been able to launch episode 50.
Yeah,
I want to start off by addressing what happened back on March 19th when we tried to launch our YouTube episode with Mike Patchen from Mountain Made CBD. YouTube, basically we didn't dot our I's and cross our T's all the way, and they pulled our video down. So if you've been looking for it and you haven't been able to see episode 49,
it's audio.
It's audio only. You can still get that on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you listen. But if you were trying to watch, that is what happened.
Yeah, so we may have to put like a 18 plus click on there, just because we're explicit here and we talk freely. And I grew up in construction, and I'm the son of a sailor. So I swear occasionally, and I know you do as well, man. So whatever we can do to just make things right, we want to give people honest, free flowing content. Without breaking rules or anything like that, but still being raw, being ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's been the mission the whole time. We've been authorized for explicit content audio for a long time. We still don't really know what terms we violated exactly.
Yeah, we're not too sure what little thing led to it.
And it could be something. Okay. It could be something real simple. We've heard Joe Rogan talk about his channel was flagged a few times.
We're the new guys on the block.
Yeah. So
we're the new guys on the block. And, you got to give us a tough time. But we appreciate everybody that comes in and listens. And so I've been seeing a lot of pictures about people doing the homemade haircuts.
There's been a lot of that.
A lot of homemade haircuts out there, a lot of chopped fades, a lot of gangly hairs. I'm telling you guys, I went for it, and it took 2 rounds because I messed up on the back. But I got her dialed in.
It doesn't look too bad.
I got her dialed in.
It doesn't look too bad.
It took 2 rounds.
I did a do-it-yourself on YouTube video.
You did?
Of a cut. No, I have an underground source, no names mentioned.
Oh. I was like, you did that yourself too?
Yeah, man. I figured,
what? We're just both in here stunned and doing our own hair?
Yeah, I figured I had to do it on my own. No, I have an underground source, no names mentioned.
Yeah.
That was able to, keep me looking fresh through the hard times.
That's
but
good.
Now that the salons are opening back up, my understanding is, at least here in the Denver area and what the CDC is recommending, people are going to have to wear a mask. It's one-on-one. The barber has to also wear a mask.
Yeah.
There's certain guidelines on how they're going to be bringing people in and out.
I would assume so much hair and masks.
A lot of hair and masks. Well, my thing
is, if I would wear a mask with the plastic thing, like almost a hair cover over it, but then you couldn't breathe through it.
You'd have to hold it over your face when they're cutting around the ears.
Huh.
Because otherwise you got those things hanging on your ears. I don't know how it's going to work, really.
Things are going to be different. It's going to be I'm really curious, since they're opening things, obviously, the curve is going to have a rise. There's going to be an increase in cases, and there's just so many layers to this. Is there enough testing? So are the numbers even accurate as far as what we're testing? So what's the new norm going to be, do you think? I mean, let's say 2022. What's your day looking like? What are people doing?
I think it's still so unpredictable because we're having to adapt with this, and until there's a vaccine, which they say could be here by the end of the year.
I heard maybe late 2021.
Yeah, I mean, no one really knows.
Yeah.
It's in early development right now.
Yeah.
So until that vaccine is out there and readily available, there's no shortage of it. I don't see how, because I mean, the reality is we've been dealing with the flu for quite a while. Every year, the flu is an issue. I haven't had it, fortunately, in a while. But that's been something that we've had to deal with. There's Theraflu, and there's things that they come out with over time. I'm not a medical expert.
Neither of us are.
And I got to be honest, I got really tired of watching the coronavirus task force press conferences day after day. It was just, they're so long and drawn out. I felt like I could read the bullet points at the end and kind of get the information I needed.
I mean, they haven't made much progress, so they're continuing to give the same information. Like, we haven't made it this far, so we're repeating the same thing.
Yeah, it could be. And then you're dealing with the same questions from the press day in and day out. It's like, okay, I get it. I don't need to tune into these anymore. I can't get away from it. Every email I read, every app I open, everything, it's impacted every aspect of our life. And I'll say this, man, during that shutdown, it's amazing to me that, here in the good old red, white, and blue America, essential businesses, guns, alcohol, marijuana, all these places were able to remain open. Yeah. So that's terrific.
I mean, that is your essentials. You got to keep your mind right. And, that's an American amendment is guns. So you can't get rid of that. So you did purchase some guns recently. You started with a handgun. You've now got a rifle and looking to get a shotgun in the future. I'm curious about accessories. What's going on?
It's a pretty expensive hobby.
Yeah.
I started with a pistol. I got the Smith&Wesson M&P 2.0. Great pistol. Highly recommend it to anyone. It's 9mm. It's not a concealed carry size. It is a full-size pistol. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it felt good, man, when all this started. And it wasn't like I panic bought this gun. I don't want to sound like the pandemic hit and I started buying all these guns.
I could see how that would be a perception.
A lot of people thought that. Yeah. I took my stimulus into account and, I've been talking about getting it for a long time. So finally pulled the trigger on that, no pun intended. And
yeah, you did.
And got the 2.0. So it started with that, and I was like, man, I'm really digging this M&P stuff.
You're liking shooting the 9mm, and you're like, so what round size does the assault rifle have?
So I then went with what's called the M&P Sport 2. So it's the second edition from Smith&Wesson. Okay. It's an AR-15. So it shoots 223 or 5.56 rounds, which is a pretty heavy round. But the weapon that here in Colorado, it's tough. All our Texas and Freedom State, listeners and watchers know you guys can get 30, 40, 50, 100 round drum clips. Can't get that here in Colorado. So the rifle I bought, this AR-15, which is a nice rifle, is California compliant, which means that basically to be California compliant, it has to have 10 magazines or 10 round magazine or less. Okay. No pistol grip, no adjustable butt stock on the back of the rifle, and it has a muzzle flash hider, which some people would complain about. The pistol grip thing in the stock doesn't make sense to me. Why that makes it compliant.
It would just make it more comfortable to shoot.
You should have a rifle that fits you properly. Yeah. And without an adjustable stock, you're stuck with what comes with the California compliant rifle.
Unless if you bought a different sized stock.
Well, that's the thing, is that I got a very basic AR, so now I'm gonna have to start getting the optics and the sights dialed in. Yeah. Get a pistol grip on there. Kind of customize a little bit. So
that'll be fun though.
I'm excited, man. I've been spending a lot of time at the range.
You get like a new accessory like once every 2 months or something like that. Try something new. Play around with it, figure out, I could use a little bit in this department, and then you go ahead and invest your time in that.
Problem is me pretty well, and the listeners probably do too, is when I get into something, it's hard for me not to go all in.
We call him both feet deep into Kev.
You call me High Rev Kev too.
High Rev Kev. You got a lot of nicknames.
Yeah, so, during the quarantine, I had no podcast to do, right? No pod. We weren't showing up here.
We weren't.
I had no Ridge Runners band practice. Still don't. We haven't gone back yet.
Oh, man.
So basically all I was doing was going to work, which I work in the grocery biz, so you can imagine times have been a little difficult there, and then go home. So I was like, well, what kind of hobby can I get into during this? Shooting. Yeah.
I have a good old true and hobby that's will forever be, and that's gaming. And I've played 3 good games during this whole thing, and I'm gonna probably actually, I think I'm on. Okay, so it's Shadows of Mordor. It was like a Lord of the Rings type of game. Awesome. It's like Batman: Arkham Asylum, where you like fight people and stuff. And then also,
you get excited about your games,
dude. I've never had more time where I'm like, okay, because you can't leave, you can't go on walks. I mean, you go on walks, but you can't go out and like hang out somewhere for a long time. It's different, And so City Skylines, it's like a Sim City game.
I haven't played any of these that you've mentioned.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a good list out there to the listeners. if you need something to do. And so yeah, City Skylines is like a Sim City game, which is it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. It took a lot of time up. And then I recently borrowed Dying Light from my brother, and that's like a zombie apocalypse game, parkour zombie game. And that is actually a lot better than I could even expected. It came out in 2015, so it's 5 years old. I'm telling you, that's been one of the blessings of this in my life is
getting a little game time in.
Yeah, getting some time.
I've been doing the same thing, dude. So my PS4, I think we talked about this last time. My HDMI port failed on it.
Yeah. So
I finally got a new PS4 right before the pandemic hit. And my brother, who lives down in Phoenix, Arizona, he's gotten hardcore into it.
Yeah,
like that's his hobby now. He's
going
all
out. GTA.
We do Grand Theft Auto. We do Gran Turismo. We do NASCAR.
Okay.
So my brother, he sends me a text earlier that he bought the pedals, the wheels. He's got the assembly.
Oh, that's cool.
He's got the whole assembly coming, which mounts the wheel and pedals.
Oh, that's
I'm like, damn. So now he's probably gonna be whipping my ass and racing because he's gonna
be in there like doing it.
Yeah, dude. He's gonna have the full setup. So
that'll be badass.
We've been getting down at night, throw on the headset, and him and I will fuck around.
Okay.
It's a good way to pass the time.
It is. Yeah, I don't do too much online gaming. It's more, excuse me. It's more, solo driven things where I'm doing that by myself, kind of like zoning into that story. Of course, I got my girl next to me. We chit chat on the side, and while I'm playing, she's hanging out, we talking. But a lot of sitting on the front porch, a lot of extra. I've been putting on weight.
Me too. You can't see it, but my guts.
That's why I wore the black again.
So
I had to wear the black to kind of hide it.
Well, I got my new Smith&Wesson on too. So,
yeah. Oh, is that the one with the American backside?
Yeah, freedom, buddy.
Nice.
Freedom.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, Kevin.
Thanks,
Kevin goes high rev. Kev. He gets the gun and the shirt same time.
Absolutely. I don't see a reason why you wouldn't do it that way.
I just love the dedication, and it's like, being a man of detail. You do every part. You don't forget a step.
Oh, that's a nice thing to say. I feel like that's a compliment. I try to, man. I just like to really go all in.
All in.
I mean,
own it. He owns it.
Own it. Hashtag own it.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, so what else? What else? I mean, other than the daily walk, I mean, that's really been a saving grace, is just being in a neighborhood to where I can, my girlfriend and I could go on a walk and enjoy a couple miles on Saturdays. On the weekends, we usually try to do 4-mile walks, and that really helps. But you got to get into that rhythm, because now I think I'm more of an introvert than I thought I was.
Don't you think a lot of people might feel that way right now?
Yes, and I'm getting less motivated to do things.
Like what?
Like, even I can't do anything, but I'm still like, if I could, I would love to just do nothing. Like, it's made me more lazy.
Really?
Yeah.
See, it's been driving me so crazy, this whole thing. I've done so much online shopping. Let me tell you something.
Okay.
I bought a vacuum cleaner. I was doing a little bit of drinking, and it's never good to do drinking and online shopping, okay?
No, that's the best time to do online shopping.
It isn't, because you fill everything out, and I don't even think, I'm just like, purchase order, don't even think about it.
What were you buying?
So I started with the vacuum cleaner. That was the first purchase online. And then when that thing arrived, dude, I've gone into massive cleaning mode.
Yeah.
Like my pad is spotless.
I need to buy a good one.
It changes the game, dude.
I don't want to interrupt, because I have a purchase that I want to make soon. So, I mean, okay. You keep going really quick, and I'll throw this in once you're done. I apologize.
Oh, you're good. That's really, I mean, because I've needed stuff to do, right? So I've been shooting guns, taking care of the pad, right? So I started with the vacuum cleaner. That thing showed up. What the hell else did I buy? Just a bunch of things. You're gonna love it, dude. Next time you come on my place, remember over my fireplace, I had that picture of Jeff Gordon and I. That's gone.
Yes.
I got a nice canvas, a nice new canvas with a little nice looking backdrop. So I bought a couple new pieces of artwork for the pad.
Oh, that's badass.
Sweet, dude. It's looking good. So, yeah, really just been doing home improvement a little bit, even though I live in an apartment, and shooting guns. That's what I've been doing.
Sounds like fun. That does sound like fun. I'm fortunate. My job has not been affected, so I'm staying busy on the day, daily, getting up early, working, making sure. And working from home is nice, because you don't have all your peers there. Everyone communicates online. But it's nice. I feel like it's a little less stressful and a tiny bit more productive.
You think it's more productive being at home?
Yes. Only because if you're not really working hard, then it's going to be seen, right? Like, and that would be the same as being in the office. But, like, there's just something about being from home. Like, okay, I got this thing coming through late at night. It's not that hard for me to just whip out my laptop because I'm used to doing it at home now. Mm-hmm. Opposed to being in the office, you kind of go home, you're like, I left work.
Leave it there kind of thing. Yeah, I guess for me, I mean, I'm a different industry, of course. I'm in an industry where I have to be in the field, you know, selling groceries, being out in the stores. Man, it's been a wild ride so far in the grocery business.
Yeah, you've definitely been in one of the toughest positions. You know, everyone applauds the healthcare workers and things like that, but the people that are out there making sure food's on the shelves and making sure that that stuff's clean. I'm sure there's like a cleaning regimen you have to do at work, all these different things.
There, you know? Yeah, there's a lot of standards that we have to follow, of course, getting the product in. We actually, I work for a third-party distributor associated with Kroger, and we actually had in our warehouse where our product is pulled out of, which we have over 8,000 SKUs that we service, one of the warehouse personnel tested positive for COVID and then died from the COVID.
How old were they?
Well, he was an older gentleman. They didn't give us a lot of detail. They said he was an older gentleman, and he had underlying health issues, which is typically a leading cause of the death with COVID.
So you think smoking, because I smoke marijuanas, and occasionally that gives me a little cough, obviously I'm a little overweight, so I'm at a higher risk then. Like that would make sense.
Well, but the thing is I've also heard cases now of full-on people that only eat organic, fit, ripped, riding bicycles every day, working out, feeling good. You know, people that are in outstanding shape are getting it and also having complications with it. So it's so inconsistent from person to person.
What about the whole blood type thing? Because I heard something where it was like, based on your blood type, you're going to be severe or less severe.
Yeah, I think the antibodies, I was listening to Rogan talk about it with one of the guys he had on there. And they were basically saying, like, I don't know if it was A negative or B positive. I can't remember what blood type it was. But every blood type has different antibodies in it, apparently. And that's why some blood types are more prone to other diseases. And I guess people that are asymptomatic, data is showing that they are a specific blood type.
Huh.
I don't know if that's consistent with every single case. You know, there's just so many different variables to it.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely is. And it's not going anywhere. So eventually humanity is going to have to just go through it. It's going to have to go through humanity because you can't hide from it forever. If you're, I mean, all this disinfecting and cleaning of our hands and social distancing.
It's going to weaken our immune.
Yeah, weaken the immune system.
It's going to weaken it.
Yeah, you were actually, that's where I got that information. Yeah, because you were talking about that the other day on the phone with me. And that's such a true thought, you know. Put some dirt on it growing up is what I always thought.
Well, yeah, there's a reason, you know, at a young age, as babies start to crawl and put things in their mouth, and your body's introduced to bacteria and viruses. And while we're trying to avoid COVID-19 right now, we're also avoiding all bacteria and viruses because there's so much sanitizing happening. Everyone's wiping down counters at home. You're not breathing anything in with the mask on, which we all understand why. But we're not introducing our bodies to bacteria and viruses, so that's going to compromise our immunes when we go back to regular lifestyle, whenever that is. That now you're at a greater risk for the seasonal flu, the common cold, whatever else is going on. Yeah.
The social strain that it's created is just, it's amazing. And so one of the most important things about this lockdown that we've done over the past couple months is that we've given the medical facilities time, hopefully, to kind of amp up what they need.
Inventory.
You know? And so that way, once we start getting back to this quote-unquote normal, which will not be the same as it was, that way they're prepared for people in the cases and the testing. And that way, you know, we could get it done quicker.
That is the idea of it. I mean, you have some areas like New York City that got hit real bad.
Really bad.
Really bad. I mean, those hospitals were really overloaded. I don't know what the numbers are in Colorado as of today, May 6th, 2020. I know we were close to the 1,000 death mark, 1,000 within the state. 5.6 million population here in the state, so I don't know what that number translates to, but you know, the fact remains, is it going to get worse before it gets better? I don't know.
I mean,
nobody knows.
I mean, nobody knows, and it's fun to speculate about. And you said again earlier, we're not experts like a lot of these people talking, but you know, it's just interesting to think about what is to come. You know, honestly, like what's the new social normal? Is that always less people in restaurants? You know, is that you know, less of all these different things. And, you know, how do movie theaters work? Like, my girlfriend said, like, is our drive-in movie theaters going to be more relevant now? And I'm like, that's a good point. You know,
I saw a meme the other day, and it showed concerts for 2020, and it was drive-in concerts. You just saw all these cars in front of the stage, and then it was like mosh pits, and they were all wrecked.
That is funny.
But yeah, who knows? Nobody really knows. There's 4 phases of us reopening. I think we're entering phase 2 now, with 50% of the workforce going back, but still having to practice social distancing and masks. But once we get to phase 4,
what's phase 3 and 4?
I forget what 3. 3 is basically just 75% of the workforce.
Okay,
and then 100 would be stage 4. But stage 4 also said all sporting events can resume, concerts, public gatherings, massive. So who knows, man? I don't know.
They have to have some trust in the capabilities of getting all the medical supplies that they need and things for testing. That's the only way. Confidence has to be high in that department in order for us to deal with. I mean, 'cause the virus, like I said, the virus is not going to go anywhere, so it has to go through humanity, or humanity has to like let it happen. Like, it's not going to go anywhere.
It's not going to go anywhere. Basically, we have to build immunity to it, just like we do everything else.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're not going to get it at some point in your lifetime. How many times have you had the seasonal flu?
I feel like I skip years. Like, sometimes it's like once every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll get like little congestions. Like, I think it's just allergies like everybody gets.
Seasonal allergies are bad, especially this time of year. And that's the other crazy thing is, you know, people have, you know, dry throats, coughing, sneeze, you know.
What is it?
Seasonal allergy symptoms are now coinciding with the COVID thing. So it's like people are freaking out the second they get a stuffy nose, or you're immediately panicked because it's of the mass hysteria that's always been pumped down our throats.
This is kind of what I mentally went through when it very first happened, and there was like all this stuff about, you know, it's in California, you know, it's in Seattle, you know, it's come to Colorado now. When all that was happening, I was just like, oh, well, shit, have I had it? And like, am I going to spread it now? So it was March 16th, I think, like that Monday.
That was last time we were in here, wasn't it?
No, it was the week before that.
No, because we were in here. We were in here that week. We were in here that week.
Yeah, no, it's that same week. Yeah,
that's when it got real.
That's when I first started working from home. It was the last week that we recorded.
Yeah, that's when everything and then we decided that was it. We shut it down.
Yeah, and at that point in time, I was like, am I asymptomatic? You know, am I spreading it? So that was my main goal of going home and making sure that, you know, I'm staying home. And what a transition! Like, staying from home it was overbearing at first, and now it's kind of just the normal because we've been doing it for a couple months.
I know. People are going to have to get used to, you know, people are going to have to get readjust to getting back into waking up, taking a shower, putting on your suit and tie or whatever it is you wear to work, and getting back into it.
I still wear my work clothes, but the same clothes I'm wearing right now is basically what I wear to work while I'm in the office too. So
I think that's the best.
Been laid back. You know, I put on my shoes every day. I think that helps me know I'm working.
You stay in that rhythm. You know, I have to go into the field every day, so for me it hasn't changed. But if I did have to work from home, I feel like it would be too easy to try and be lazy and stay in your jammy jams. It's probably best to get ready, treat it like a normal work day, get up, take a shower, all that kind of stuff. Although I'm not a morning shower, I'll be honest.
Yeah,
can't do it.
Morning shower helps because I'm a sleep sweater, a sleep sweater, a sweater in my sleep. How do I want to say that? I don't know how I want to say that. I sweat in my sleep, y'all, and sometimes I get hot, and I'm a massive turner. I'm like flip flopping in bed and a lot of movement. So sometimes that morning shower is necessary, especially with all the excess drinking that I've been doing now in the lockdown. You know, I don't think I've ever drank so much Crown, and you know, like, you be sweating that out while you sleep.
Yeah, alcohol's not good.
So the shower will help refresh the day, get you ready to rinse and repeat. Literally, Groundhog's Day. Like, you know, you just got to keep grinding, keep rinsing and repeating, and staying healthy within that habit. And it's something that we have to remember we're doing for reasons, and that way we don't go crazy. The protesters, like, I'm sorry if you're a listener and you're protesting the face masks, like, I don't agree with you. Like, I feel like that's something that should be understood. It's something that can help slow it, unless if you're in the corner of the team that wants it to just run through humanity already, so that way we can move on to the next thing. Because that's what's going to happen eventually anyway. Like, there's no other way around this.
I think,
you know,
us Americans are so, we're not used to people telling us what to do, right? We're so free, and people are so entitled that they're like, what do you mean you're telling me I have to do this? And I think that's where a lot of that pushback is coming from. You know, I fully support the mask. I wore one over here. You know, I have it around my neck most of the time. There's only 2 of us in here, so I'm not wearing it now.
Yeah, I wore it when we went upstairs, though.
It's just not that, you know, I don't feel like it's that much to ask. I feel like when you get called to jury duty, it's your civil duty to do it. Yeah. Right? Go, you serve the people. Put on a mask, people. It's not that hard. It really isn't.
Yeah, bandana.
Something. Yeah, tie a shirt. I mean, I get it. I get why people are upset and they don't want to do it. But it's not that much to ask.
You'll look more mysterious if you wear the mask and just your eyes are showing. It's going to create some mystery around your whole persona.
It was weird,
and you're going to love it.
Walking into a gun shop, being like, "Give me an AR-15 with a mask on."
Yeah.
When else can you do that?
Oh my god. That is fucking legit.
Yeah, you can literally, walk into a bank with a mask on and demand money.
You're like, "Hey, I need to make a withdrawal for my account ending in 0061.
So, I don't know, man.
That is funny to think about, though. I mean, it's like comedy, you know. Comedians talk about this before any of this COVID shit. You know, comedy is there to make fun of the things that are hard to deal with.
True.
The things that, you know, it's tough to have that conversation, so let's joke about it instead.
Yeah, bring a little, shed a little light on it. Yeah.
So it's good to keep light I mean, it's good not to be so serious about what's happening, because it's happening. We are experiencing it. We're going through it. It's up to us how we want to come out of this, how we want to be in it, you know, and how are we going to help others, because everyone's equal. And that's the thing a lot of people forget is that, you know, I need to buy my chips right now, or I'm getting gas right now. Well, guess what? Everybody's doing that. And everyone should give each other respect and space to understand that everyone feels awkward right now. Everyone's a little unsure. Like, what do we do on a walk if a couple's walking toward us? Like, what do you do? I mean, you just veer to the side. It's okay, you know? But it's like...
Well, and I think that, you know, again, as information comes in, the social distancing 6 feet, if you're just walking past somebody, I think you'll be okay.
No,
especially if they're masked.
You know, I will cut to the street. We just cut into the street or do a lot of alley walking, because we walk around a neighborhood, which is nice. You know, if there's not room to cut into a street because it's too busy of a street, then yeah, just brisk walk. Maybe, but I mean, hold your breath for a sec. What do you do?
If everyone's wearing a mask, though,
but not everyone is going to.
Fair enough. So if you're avoiding people not wearing masks, I can understand that. But somebody would have to cough or sneeze into the air, and then you would have to walk through that, is my understanding. Because they're saying, like, in a subway train, they did a test that it can stay in the air for up to like 10, 15 minutes.
Oh. But yeah,
well, that's a confined space, right? And that's somebody coughing and sneezing into the air. I am not a medical expert or a scientist. I don't know if any of this is true. This is just what I've been hearing. So the idea is with the mask, if you do that, it's going to catch that and not put it in the air, right? So I don't know. I really don't know.
Mm-hmm. I don't know either. But I know as a person, you know, that, like I said earlier, enjoys the devil's lettuce.
The devil's lettuce.
You know, sometimes that is a cough's associated with that habitual behavior. And occasionally I have that. So going in the public, whenever I do, I try to be more cautious of, you know, not freaking people out and coughing. I wear a mask if I go. You know, I've been supporting our local businesses. Like, we have a tea place near us. We have a French bakery near us we've been going to. Thai place that's local we've been ordering from. You know, so we've been trying to do it. We've been doing a lot of taking it out, but in to the house.
I mean, it's kind of the same idea. I've been doing a lot of DoorDash. My girlfriend and I have been doing a lot of DoorDash. We'll wake up in the morning.
It's extra $15. Who cares,
dude?
I don't care right now.
It saves me from having to go out. It supports the businesses. Yeah. Or even just call them up and then go get it.
Well, yeah, and then you employ the DoorDash people. Like, that totally helps the economy.
I'll tell you who's hurting, though, is Uber and Lyft. Really? People don't need to go anywhere. Where are people going?
That's true.
You know? I mean, I read...
they're probably still out there ripping a little bit, but it's just way died down.
People still need to get from A to B. But I was reading that Southwest Airlines, who I got to check on this. I was talking to my dad about it. They're supposed to be crediting everybody like 15,000 points and like 10 credits for flights, which would be pretty cool. But they ran like 56 ghost flights like 2 or 3 weeks ago. 56 flights with no one
ridiculous.
on it.
It's just a waste of money and fuel.
I'll tell you the other thing I've been doing during this pandemic, though. And I talked to you about this off mic when we were, on the phone during all this. I've gotten into the stock market.
Yeah.
There's money to be made in there, man. Cherry pick these stocks while they're low.
I know. I wish I had extra cash. I could be honest with our audience. We talk about a lot of things on here. I made a lot of mistakes in my 20s, as I've discussed, like we all did, right? And yeah, I got some garnishments going on right now, and that's taking a hefty 25% of my income every single check. And
Uncle Sam needs his money.
So I'm paying Uncle Sam back. I'm happy I'm able to do that and get it done. So then it's finished, and it will probably last another 4 to 5 weeks. And then that monkey's off my back, and then I'm just going to do things right after that. But if I had that extra income that wasn't going to that right now, man, I would totally throw it into some stocks.
It's if you have it, if you got the expendable, you don't even need that much right now. I have. Well, I won't put my finances out there, but I threw some money into Robinhood, which they don't sponsor us, so I'm not really going to plug them. But it's a great way to invest. TD Ameritrade, that's another one that offers things. But if you can individually trade stocks without transaction fees, do it, because stocks are low right now, especially airline. I bought oil when it was real low. Oil's starting to go back up. Energy, transportation, things that are going to be consistent, and you can buy low right now. I highly recommend.
Yeah, that's good advice. Because it's an opportunity, and the early bird gets the worm. And so if you understand what's happening before others and capitalize on that, then it could definitely help out, down the road. But you got to have money to play with, though.
You do have to money to play with. And the way I'm doing, some people like Warren Buffett's crazy. Warren Buffett just sold off all of his airline stock last weekend. All of it. He dumped every airline stock, and that really played with the airline market. I do plan to grab some of those when they bought them.
Yeah.
The way I'm doing it, though, is not long term. I have a 401k with my company, right? So those are mutual funds, offshore accounts, what have you. I'm doing day trading.
Yeah.
Try to take $100, turn it into $200, basically. It's a gamble, right? It's the stock market. But with some of these, you're cherry picking these stocks when they're so low. Like Halliburton, for example, I bought at $3-4 a share. I think last I looked, it's up to $8 or $9 a share now. So I've essentially doubled my money, getting almost 100% return on investment, because I bought low. And that's the idea of it. I'm not a stock expert, but it's fun when you can day trade. Yeah, you day trade a little bit. You throw some money out there, and it's so unpredictable. After the 2008 crash, some of the things that were put into place, when this pandemic hit, everything just it plummeted.
How ironic is that? The Great Depression happened in the 1920s.
Here we are 100 years later.
But it's a different cause. It's of a different thing.
Well, but here's the thing. Spanish flu hit in 1917, 1918, somewhere.
Okay.
I think it was 1917.
But that didn't hit worldwide, though. It wasn't worldwide.
It was a little bit more regional, from what I understand. But it was a serious situation.
It was. Yeah. So things that I want to buy. All right, I didn't get to it. There's something I wanted to buy.
Uh-oh.
It's useful for anyone in the time of need. I feel like I'm going to buy a
gun?
No, I'm going to buy a car jumper. Like the mobile battery car jumper.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised you don't own one of those already.
Yeah, I'm going to buy one. I'm going to buy one of those. I've worked with them a lot when I used to sell cars. And there's just there's too many times where you're all like, dude, I just need a jump right now. And then you got to like wait for somebody with...
do you have cables anywhere? Do you carry cable, like basic jump cables?
I want to replace cables with that.
Okay.
And then just have that.
That'll work. I know, because you told me your Mountaineer battery's dead.
Yeah, and
did you leave a dome light on or something?
I didn't.
You must have.
I don't think so.
I think you might have.
I really don't think so.
Well, why is the battery dead, Art?
Well, it still unlocked the doors and like the lights still came on.
Sure, but that's not enough to crank over the motor.
Well, I don't know, because
remember when my battery died?
I've been having stuff getting situated, and it's been sitting. And I've tried to start it up every once in a while, but like it's not enough to charge the battery.
It's not enough. It takes a lot of cranking amps to turn the motor over. Remember when mine went and you came and bailed me out back When our first freeze hit, my battery was toast. I think it was like 5, 6 years old. It got cold, it would start. But I was still able to unlock the doors, still able to turn the radio on. It just doesn't have enough amps to turn the motor over. So do you think the battery's shot, or do you think that it's just drained?
It still has some life. I think it still has some life. I'm gonna give it some more life, but I feel like, what do those things cost? Like $150, $200?
It's worth the investment, I feel like.
You know, and then you carry it around for 40 years and jump how many people's things and look like a boss?
40 years, that's the longevity of that equipment.
Well, I don't know. Honestly, I just feel like I take very good care of my electronics.
That's good.
So I think it'll last.
I think that's a good investment. I would recommend doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, I carry basic cables around in my car just in case.
Yeah, just ditch the basic
roadside
cables.
shit.
Like
yeah, but it works.
Yeah, I get that, but this is, you know, I'm adulting now. I'm starting to grow up, and I think it's time to get an adult product.
So
you're not,
renewable.
Yes, you're not depending on somebody else. Somebody give me a spark.
Sure.
You know.
I guess I can understand that argument.
You know, you just whip it out. You know, as long as it's charged, just start it up, baby.
I suppose.
You know, it'll turn me into one of those guys. I'll be like seeing somebody parked by the side of the road. I'm like, you need a jump? And they'll be like, yeah, actually I do. I'm like, cool, whip it out. You know?
I think it's worth the investment. It'll definitely pay for itself probably after like maybe 7 uses.
Yeah, probably. So how many rounds have you shot out of your pistol already?
So the M&P 2.0 Smith&Wesson, full size, has seen 575 rounds.
575, huh?
575 range ammo. Haven't shot any hollow points out of it, but I do keep a clip of hollow point loaded for home protection.
Yeah.
575 range ammo, 115 grain, you know, full metal jacket, basic range ammo. Yeah, 575. Cleaned it 3 times now. So nice. I clean it every time it's shot. Learned how to do that. Learned a lot about firearms.
That's probably good to do, right? You want to clean it every time you shoot it?
Well, yeah, think about all the gunpowder that's going in your barrel. You know, it mixes with any sort of residual residue in there and creates gunk. You don't want to have any misfires, things of that nature. So it's important to clean your firearm.
That makes a lot of sense.
After you shoot it.
Yeah. So it sounds like just a good ritual to have. You know, you go shooting, and then you take care of the piece.
Take care of the piece. Yeah, you take care of it. And it's important, man. As a gun owner and exercising my Second Amendment right, I think it's important for me to get familiar with the weapon, spend time at the range. You know, I did everything the right way. Passed the background check, registered the weapon, got familiar with it at the range. I'm taking my concealed carry course here in 2 weeks. And I think that if you follow those steps and you do everything the right way, there's nothing wrong with being a gun owner. You know, I know a lot of people have mixed opinions on this. We talked about this.
I mean, be responsible, and like what we've talked about, I do believe that it's important for that whole gun issue to be educated on the gun.
Absolutely.
I think it's silly if you could just go buy a gun without any education on it and just be like, here you go.
You can, though.
Yeah, and that's kind of silly in my mind. I guess I'm a little more conservative than
liberal
there. Okay, I'm more liberal there than I mean, it would make sense. To drive a car, which can also kill somebody, we have to get a permit, and then we could get our license after taking tests.
Sure. Yeah, I think we talked about this with Lori when she was on about kind of. I don't think anybody's against extended background checks. I had to wait. You know, I was on the phone with you before I came here. I had to wait an hour and a half for mine to come back on my AR, which I just picked up before I came here. I'm fine with that. I'm not opposed to people having to take classes with their weapon. These classes are available, you know. But they're at the gun owner's discretion, right? So you could go buy the weapon and then just not even know how to operate it. And you know, a good source of things that we have is YouTube. I mean, I learned a lot just from watching YouTube on how to take down the weapon, how to safely handle the weapon. There's a lot of information out there at our fingertips. Just be educated on it.
Yeah.
Let's reduce some of these gun accidents that happen.
Yeah, and make sure you're choosing educational material that you've kind of criticized already. You should always be critical about where you get your information, because a lot of people just inherently research things that confirm their own opinions, and they just do that. So to be above the sheep in the world, let's be critical of where we get our information. It makes sense, right? I mean, you can't just like read everything that you think is true and be like, oh yeah, that article came out, so yeah, that dude definitely wrestled that alligator.
You have to do your own research. It's crucial. I mean, there's so much clickbait and fake news out there, not to quote the president, but there's fake news, right?
Kofi? Kofifi?
Kafifi?
Would you like to go for some Kofifi?
Oh yeah, some Kofifi.
What is that?
I'm not really sure.
Nothing, because he just made it up and tried to make it up that it wasn't made up.
Right.
It's like a makeup inception.
Kafafi?
Kofifi?
Kafifi?
I thought it was Kofifi.
I think the fact remains is that people need to do their own research on whatever topic it is that's being presented to them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the first thing I did when I bought my firearm was watch every YouTube video I can, the reviews, safety handling, opinions of other people on it, people that have fired it. And you're always going to have, oh, this gun's better than that gun. Everybody's got their opinions.
Yeah. And there's always good and bad opinions about a product.
Number one thing when handling a firearm is safety. I mean, you have to. Always treat it like it's loaded.
Yeah.
It never hurts to double, triple check. You know, drop the magazine, safety check it. You know, lock the slide back. Make sure. Put a finger down the muzzle if you have to. Make sure you're not feeling any brass.
Yeah.
It's crucial. And, you know, and just following. People get too confident with it. You know? And it's easy to do. You're like, man, I've handled this weapon so many times, and accidents do happen. We see it happen all the time.
Yeah, people forget, you know, you forget steps. Just because you're an expert doesn't mean that you're going to always do every step right if you become lackadaisical with it. Like if you get too comfortable with it, you know, something like that, you know, it's like even working in my industry, like I have to double check. I have to make sure things are done right, because if they're not, then it's going to cost money, you know, and I could get confident with something and then, oops, I forgot a part because I got too confident with it. Didn't think about it enough.
Yep.
I thought I could skip that step. You know, with a firearm as well, like you got to make sure that you're doing the right steps.
You can't skip any steps with a firearm. You just can't. You're talking about life and death.
Yeah.
You know, and fortunately, the range that I shoot at, I won't mention it, but it's very close to where we you know do the podcast here. They do an outstanding job. The range officers are very sharp. Every 30 minutes they call a ceasefire. Everyone has to step back behind the yellow line. You can't touch your firearm. Always has to be pointed downrange.
Yeah.
You know, just being in that environment will teach you how to really be safe with it, because you see a lot of people come in there and just start slinging guns around, and they're like, man, you can't. This isn't a free for all.
Yeah.
You're gonna follow the rules, and just being in that environment teaches you how serious it is and how serious to take it.
I think that's smart, actually. That's a good way to look at it. You know?
Yep.
You know, go make sure that you're shooting it in a well-controlled place that will help teach you good habits on how to handle the gun. So it's important, because then you start to respect the gun and then also get to learn how to use it at the same time.
So my question to you is, when are we going to go shoot this thing, man? I want you to come out and fire my new weapons. We got to get out there, bro.
In a couple weeks at the most.
I mean,
we should do it.
We could literally do it before the podcast one time. You know, it's that close.
That is true.
You know, because
that could be fun.
When I first got this thing, Arthur called me up and said that he could shoot better than I can.
I did, because I'm a major trash talker, and I talk that shit, and I can handle it too.
Well, first of all, I've kept that in mind, and I've been practicing.
So you've been getting good?
Oh, dude, 575 rounds I put through that gun.
You watch this whiz kid on the first 10.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're not going to hit the target.
On the first 10,
I don't think you're going to outshoot me, dude.
On the first 10, I guarantee you I get at least 2 of those in the hot spot.
You're guaranteeing that?
I think out of the first 10 bullets that I shoot,
so the first,
I'll get a 20% hot spot ratio.
That's a pretty bold prediction for having shot this firearm ever.
I'm confident.
I'm gonna hold him to it, guys, and you're gonna get an update.
You're gonna hear about it.
You're gonna hear about it.
You know, because he's gonna make sure to remind me about it when it's happening or after it happens. That's what's fun about being friends, though. You know, you got to have
a little bit of competitive nature.
You know, and a lot of times I overstep because it's fun. You know, it's a fun to overstep and see how people react to ridiculous statements. And Kevin, you've handled it well, even though I'm gonna shoot your gun better than you will.
No, you're not. It's not gonna happen, bro. I mean, I'm not saying you're gonna shoot it well. But I've had a lot of practice on this firearm. Unless I'm a terrible shooter, which I'm not. I shot about a 72% accuracy was my last outing at the range.
Really?
Which is pretty good. I mean, I pretty much, I'm putting it where I want it. Still learning some things. You know, the 2 biggest things I learned about controlling a firearm that will help you be accurate. Biggest things you got to learn: trigger finger discipline and muzzle control.
Yeah.
Because everybody, when they go to pull the trigger for the first time, right before the trigger breaks, they have movement because they're anticipating that shot, and that's going to throw off your accuracy.
Yeah.
I did that the first time I shot the gun.
Oh, that's good.
No question. No question I did that, because you know, you're nervous, you slap in the mag, you're ready to rip, tater, chip. You get in there and you go to pull that trigger, and any sort of movement is going to throw off your accuracy.
Yeah.
So you need to treat it like it's a dry fire and there's nothing in there, and pull that trigger, and you're going to be more accurate that way than anticipating the shot.
That's good advice.
I'm learning a lot about guns, man.
I'm gonna pick up some of these tips and tricks from you, and then when I live up to my trash talking, I'll be able to say thank you, Kevin, for helping teaching me these techniques.
I think it's important.
You know,
I'll share any knowledge that I have, and I want to make it clear I'm still very novice, right? And I've taken the necessary precautions to learn how to handle my firearms, and I think it's important that everybody does the same. You know, I've shot guns my whole life, but I've never been an avid carrier, owner, or shooter at a range. You know,
Yeah.
it's always somebody else's gun. So, not to make this whole episode about guns, but that's basically all I've been doing since the last time we were in here.
guns are fun, man. Guns are fun. Gotta loosen the belt sometimes, you know.
Damn, damn, dude.
You know, I got one of those retractable belts where it's like the slide and the slap down.
I got one of the reversible ones, so it can be brown or black.
Yeah, but I those are fancy. But I went the old school one, and that way, just all you need to loosen it up, whoosh, and then you're free to sail wherever your hips desire. And in these Corona times, you know that the quarantine male has been adjusting his belt loops, his belt. I don't have loops though. It's a belt clamp. I've been adjusting the belt clamp. So that's one thing I've been doing to kind of keep myself entertained.
How much weight do you think you gained?
And my girlfriend entertained in the quarantine is I've made like this. I probably put on like 10 to 12, but I've been walking a lot. But I'll like be like, the quarantine male arises from his slumber to try to court his female in the house gathering of the kitchen. You know, I'll start like, you know, talking about some of these the quarantine female is now displaying aggravation toward the quarantine male. You know, and like, just, it's funny. It's a funny little segment I do in the house.
You know, you're an odd feller. But that's why I love you.
It's kind of funny.
It's very you, for sure.
You know, like, because we're all quarantine females and males right now, and could you picture like there being like a documentary on like you know, about the wild sort of thing, about how that humans acting, you know? The quarantine male wakes up from his normal daily 12-hour slumber to return to the console and continue grinding away for hours. It's crazy that he still doesn't have a mate, but it's quite obvious because he doesn't shower for days. You know, just things like that.
So why is it that you have some sort of, you know, older British gentleman narrating your life?
Because BBC has the best documentaries.
I can't argue that. I can't argue that.
Oh, that's why, man. It's because I'm trying to be like the greats.
Fair enough. That's a good answer. The British accent always makes things seem a little bit more formal.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit. You like, when you hear a British accent narrating, you're like, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
You know, you trust it.
You trust it a little bit more.
I don't know why is that, though.
It's probably because they practiced it over the hundreds of years of colonization. And then once they got it down, they're like, yeah, everyone can deal with this kind of tone and demeanor, so that's how we act, so we can colonize.
All right, so with that being said, I got a would you rather.
Oh shit! I didn't even think about a would you rather today. Dude,
yeah, this is a spontaneous would you rather.
Spontaneous. Let's hear it.
So, would you rather get advice on how to properly handle an alligator from somebody with a Louisiana accent or a British accent?
An alligator? I'd probably want to do it from the guy with the Louisiana accent, but with subtitles, so I can understand what he's saying.
So you can understand the swamp talk?
Yes, that way I can be like,
so you're
pause that and let me read it real quick because I need to make sure.
So you're assuming that just because the gentleman has a Louisiana accent, you don't know anything about him, he knows more about the gator situation than a man from the UK. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah. Geography. Do they have alligators in the UK?
I don't believe I don't believe they do.
Okay.
But that's not to say. How do you know that this gentleman from London hasn't lived in New Orleans for the last 20 years and has taken up gator hunting?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that, but
so you're naturally just going to trust that accent.
Yeah, I followed the geography, you know, that whole thing in my mind, and I was just like, yeah, if I got to pick, and you didn't give me any other details. You know?
There is no other details.
What am I supposed to work with there?
So just based on the accent, you would rather listen to the advice of a man with a Louisiana accent versus a British accent on how to properly handle an alligator.
Well, I feel like that man would probably have more hands-on experience. unless if the British guy moved to the mangroves.
Yeah, who knows? He could know a lot more, but I'm gonna tell you this. I agree. I'd probably go with the Louisiana accent.
And you know, I love people from the South, man.
I do too. The good culture, good food.
I got to set appointments everywhere. I got to talk to people from everywhere in the country. And there's something about people down there. They're just having a little bit more fun with their day. You know, things aren't bothering them quite as much. Like,
what makes you think that?
Oh, hey, what's going on? Oh, blah blah blah. This and that. You know, just that kind of energy where it's like, I was setting an appointment, and I was like, you know, something before lunch, and then I could hear some guy in the background, we don't want to do it right before lunch. And I'm all like, well, not right before lunch, you know, we don't need the appointment right before lunch. And they're like, well, how's a 9 a.m. work? And I'm like, 9 a.m. works great. Well, actually, give me an 11:50 right before lunch. And they both kind of all laugh, you know. But it's just that energy where I don't. There's something about it, man.
I would agree. My time spent around the Southern folk, which being a NASCAR fan, having friends that live in Texas and Louisiana, I've been around a lot of that Southern culture. I got family in South Carolina, Florida. So it's always a good time.
Yeah.
Great culture, great food, great conversation, great opinions. You know, people from Alabama, that's always interesting people to have conversations with on varying opinions. Good people to drink beer with, watch a race, you know. There's great people all over this world. Yeah,
I mean,
you know, and it's interesting how the dialogue and the interests and everything changes, you know, regionally.
Which yeah, but everybody deep down kind of knows what's right and wrong, though.
You think?
I think so.
You would hope.
And then if not, it's one of those psychological disorders where they're just completely incoherent about it.
There's a lot of people that are completely incoherent.
Yeah, and so what do we do about? What was that movie called? It was Idiocracy. So what do we do about Idiocracy?
What can you do? I mean, what kind of options are there?
I don't know, man. Let them all protest COVID, not wearing face masks. I don't know.
Well, I mean, because the fact remains,
let them do what they want to do.
Just let them rip, tater chip. You think?
Hopefully, Darwinism is a real thing.
Survival of the fittest, natural selection.
Oh wait, no. What's the other one? Where Darwinism?
What is that?
No, isn't there something that sounds very similar to that, where it's about like stupidity, basically?
Probably. I know there's a lot of whataboutism out there, and I've seen it at an all-time high right now.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody feels that they're cornered on their, you typically see this in political beliefs. Mostly, you see it with political posts. You know, whether you're a Biden or a Trump supporter. You know, let's take Biden for example. He has a sexual assault allegation on the table right now.
Yeah.
Everyone goes, well, what about Trump? What about Trump's allegations?
What about his 20-something?
You know, and same went the other way. Mm-hmm. Like all the Trump supporters, anytime Trump was attacked, well, what about Hillary? Hillary did this. You know, that's that and the other. It's always like, okay, I'm feeling attacked. Well, you did this too, kind of thing. You know,
you'll never get that's always going to exist. You know, because it's relevant to a certain extent. But at what point are you going to talk about the question that was asked? You know,
address the content of the question.
Yeah, it's okay that whataboutism exists. But if you're always falling back on that and you're never actually addressing the question, like it's going to be like, yeah, okay, you know, you're accusing me of this. This guy's done this, and now let me address this. You know, so it's like I'm not doing this alone, or I'm not getting accused of it alone. I don't know. Politics.
Politics is a tough one, man. I've tried to stay away from it as long as possible.
We don't usually dive too deep into politics on DCPC just because we're not about that. We want everybody from every political, you know, sector to be involved, and we love to talk to anybody from any political sector, you know. Yeah,
we want to have everybody from all sides of the spectrum for sure. We definitely don't want to, you know, it's not like anything's off limits. I just don't want it to turn into. You listen to so many shows and propaganda that become very opinionated, turn fact kind of thing. You know, mainstream media, for example, is so much opinion and propaganda that they try to put in your face as a fact. Mm-hmm. You need to fear the left. You need to fear the right kind of thing. How about you just do your own research? You know, get out there, get educated. Absolutely cast your vote this November.
Yeah.
You know, just do your part. That's how I feel.
Everybody got to do your part.
Do your part, man, and I think we'll be okay.
We will. I mean, and that's the thing is just trying to keep that positive mindset sometimes takes a little extra work.
Especially in times like this. Look,
Yeah.
a lot of people are struggling right now. A lot of people are struggling. We got over 30 million on unemployment. People are being furloughed. People are getting sick. People are dying. Things are tough right now, guys.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. It's no breaking news. But what are we going to do to move forward? There's nothing we can do to change our situation. We can adapt. We can overcome. We can own it. We can let it rip. But we still need to move forward.
I definitely agree, man. Believe and achieve it, man. I want to believe and achieve another DCPC episode coming up real soon. I would like to get another one out next week. They're doing the release 50% capacity today. Is it today or Friday?
I think in Denver.
Or is it the 11th? It's the 11th.
Denver is May 8th, Denver County. Where I live is Douglas County, a little further south. We're already clear. Statewide, I think, is the 11th. So everybody's lifted 11th, which is Monday. This coming Monday.
Yeah.
Fact remains, we still got to do our part and be careful.
Absolutely. So everybody stay safe out there and keep your mind strong. That's something important that I need to even remind myself of at times. I lose my patience, I lose my cool, and I need to be aware of those moments where I'm weak and where I let external affect my internal. And that happens to me. So like, this is a reminder to myself, a reminder to everybody out there. It's important, man. We got to stay strong in our mind and remind ourselves to acknowledge our mistakes, because there's nothing worse than making the same mistake over and over and over again. That's it's not fun. So it's like, if whatever we could do to learn from how we don't want to be and then be that person that we do want to be, just try to focus on that, give it a little extra energy, and give yourself a little grace too, because it's different right now.
Things are very different, and they're going to be for times to come. I think that's great advice, Art. Look, all we can do is the best we can do. We got to keep grinding. We got to make the best of the situation we have. It's easy to want to throw up your hands and say, look, shit's so bad right now, I don't care. I'm just going to get drunk today. The hell with it. Look, we got to keep moving, guys. We got to get back to it any which way we can. Whether you're working from home, whether you're going back into the office, take your precautions, be safe. Let's do our part. Wear the mask when you can.
Let's take it slow.
Keep your distance. Look, I'm a handshaker. We can't do that. That's off the table right now.
Yeah, Kevin and I have not touched.
No, I don't.
I gave him a room high five because I successfully brought some equipment over.
That works. It's the same kind of gesture.
It's all about the eye contact, the energy.
Well, I mean, the fact remains, that's how we got to greet for a little bit.
I saw him doing like foot handshakes somewhere where they're like, "Hey, what's up?" Kind of giving dab with your feet.
I think we can get by with whatever keeps us distant. So let's do our part. Let's hang in there. Let's keep digging. Look, it was awesome to be back in studio.
Episode 50, guys. We were really excited for episode 50. It's been a year coming up. Building DCPC, getting to where we were at. Starting on YouTube. We're still here. We're not going anywhere. We're still here for the people, bringing you organic conversations that are uncut. We don't cut our stuff. I keep all the ums, the belches, the ridiculous moments. Real people here. And we just really appreciate all the support. We're going to do it regardless because we're great friends. We enjoy these conversations. We enjoy this time. It's fun for us. But it's good to have a solid fan base that, is not fans, but they're listeners. They're part of our lives. They're experiencing what we're experiencing, and we're all in this together.
That's it, man. We're all in it together. Everybody's in this boat. It's good to be back. It's good to get back in the rhythm here for episode 50. 50 episodes, man.
50 episodes.
I mean, that's exciting. Let's celebrate that, right? 50 in the books, guys. And y'all have been very supportive to us, over the year now, because we're officially over that mark. Continue to support us. We appreciate it. Patreon's been kind of hit or miss, obviously, as everything. We will get that back flowing.
Yeah, everything... It's gonna slow steps. We're taking it slow.
Slow steps.
We're taking it slow.
We're taking it slow. But the fact remains, Facebook, guys, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, we're everywhere. Follow us on there. Head over to discussioncombustion.com. You can become a member there. Keep up with all the great things we have going on the website. Merch. Head over to Teespring/DCPC. Get yourself a shirt, hat, hoodie. We still got the merch out there, guys. Good things.
I got to go cop me a hoodie. I'm going to pay us.
You should get a hoodie.
I'm going to pay us.
You should get a hoodie. It's nice stuff. So, again, we're back, guys. The plan right now is week to week. We don't know if we're going to have a guest in the month of May. We do obviously have a list of guests that we've had
that we were going to have, that we had to furlough.
Yep. We've had to furlough them, and they're going to come back. But for the time being, it's a week-to-week basis.
Yeah.
Most likely it's going to be Arthur and I here for a little while until we can get some things figured out on how all this is going to work.
So get used to the solo episodes, but then we're going to go ahead and throw a ringer in there. We have, there's beautiful people all across the world to talk to, and man, what a pleasure. It's been good to be back. Let's go America. Let's go world. Let's overcome.
Let's do it. Let's stay strong. Stay healthy, guys.
Believe and achieve it.
Yep, believe and
achieve that.
Own it. Let it rip, Tater Chip. Take your precautions. Stay safe. We love you guys. Send us some feedback. Follow us. Interact with us. We want to hear it. We're here for you guys. You're here for us. That's the beauty of it. Let's keep that mentality. Help thy neighbor. Things are looking up, guys. We will come back stronger than ever. As a society, as a humanity, we're going to overcome this thing. We'll see you next week, guys. Episode 51 coming your way. Denver, Colorado. We'll see you guys.